Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, another film review today. I went to see the new Supergirl movie this morning. Now, I am a huge fan of DC, and quite a few years ago when it first released, I actually read the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow graphic novel, which is what this film is heavily based on. Now, to my surprise, the film is a very faithful adaptation. There's a lot of elements that are taken straight from the comic book and translated to the screen. So if you're already a fan of the comic and have read it, I think you'll definitely see a lot of the references in this film and enjoy those. It's a strange film because I thought the film was good. However, there were some strange elements to it. There's a lot of tonal shift throughout the film. So it's almost like the film can't quite decide, does it want to be a dark, serious, brooding superhero film? Or does it want to be a more action-adventure comedy style film? And as a result, I felt that a lot of the comedy didn't really land. However, the casting was brilliant. So, Supergirl herself, really great performance, really enjoyed it. Lobo, Jason Momoa, steals the show. Every scene he's in, he just commands every single scene that you see him in. That was a really good bit of casting, and it was nice to see Lobo in a film, because up until this point we'd only ever seen him in, for example, the shows. So that was really good as well. Villain, I thought the villain was pretty good. I know, obviously, like, when you read the comic, the villain probably isn't a standout, so I thought they did a good job in the film. The runtime was good too, it didn't feel like an overly long film. But the sudden shifts in tone partway through, where it was trying to be more funny, they didn't really work for me. I felt that those sort of pulled you out of the intensity of the story. The film itself, though, I thought it was a really good way of sort of taking the character of Supergirl and translating that to film. But it's not very accessible if you're not already familiar with it. So one thing I noticed when watching it was that if you're not already familiar with the character of Supergirl, and if you haven't read the Woman of Tomorrow storyline, you're probably going to be a bit confused. There's a lot in the film that sort of requires you to already have some knowledge of the character, which I don't mind because I've read the comic and I was already familiar with all of that, but I think that if this is your first sort of introduction to the character, you're going to find it quite tricky to keep up. And for that reason, it's probably not the comic book that everybody's going to want to see. Overall though, I'd say it's worth a watch. If you're a comic book fan, if you're a DC fan, it's really good. I hope we see the character of Supergirl again. I think we probably will when the Superman sequel comes out. Which brings me on to a little point here. David Corenswet's Superman, I really enjoyed his performance last year and I loved the film. He's really good in this one as well, because the characters are so different. Supergirl and Superman are both played so differently that it feels like the comics. It feels like that sort of difference in mentality that they have. So I really enjoyed that as well. But I'd be really interested to know what other people think about it. Did you enjoy it? Are there any other things that you think they could have done to improve it? But yeah, as always, remember to keep watching, and we'll be back with another movie review very soon.